She left you thinking she could do better. Now she's about to discover what a massive mistake that was. The woman who walked away convinced herself that you weren't good enough, that she deserved more, that someone else would provide what you couldn't. She expects you to chase her, beg for another chance, and prove that losing her destroyed you. This validates her decision and confirms she made the right choice. But here's what she doesn't understand. Every predictable reaction she expects from you only strengthens her belief that leaving was correct. The desperate calls, the emotional breakdowns, the pathetic attempts to win her back, all of this confirms she made the smart choice. I'm going to show you exactly how to make any woman regret walking away from you. These strategies work because they exploit female psychology in ways most men never understand. If this content is valuable to you so far, please hit the like button. Most men's first instinct after a breakup is trying to win her back. This is the worst possible response because it immediately confirms every negative belief she had about you during the relationship. When you chase, you're proving that you're exactly the needy, desperate man she decided to leave. Here's what most men don't understand. Chasing destroys any remaining attraction she might have felt. Women are biologically programmed to lose respect for men who pursue them after rejection. The moment you start calling, texting, or showing up uninvited, you transform from someone she might miss into someone she actively wants to avoid. Delete her number immediately. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Remove every contact method that makes reaching out easy during weak moments. The temptation to send just one text will destroy months of progress in seconds. But here's the part that creates regret. When you don't chase, you shatter her expectations about your reaction. She anticipated desperate pursuit that would validate her importance in your life. Your complete absence of chase behavior forces her to question whether she was actually as valuable to you as she assumed. Women often leave relationships expecting the man to fight for them. This provides emotional validation and confirms their desirability. When you provide zero pursuit, it creates psychological confusion about your true feelings and her actual worth in your life. The no-chase strategy works because it demonstrates outcome independence. You're not trying to change her mind or prove your worth, you're accepting her decision and moving forward. This psychological strength is attractive and creates doubt about whether leaving was actually the right choice. Never break the no-chase rule, even if she sends mixed signals or reaches out first. Any pursuit behavior resets the entire dynamic and confirms that you were just waiting for permission to become desperate again. Never let her see you suffer. The biggest mistake men make after breakups is believing that displaying pain will create sympathy and regret. This is completely backwards. When women see men crying, begging, or falling apart over losing them, it confirms their decision and eliminates any remaining attraction. Here's why showing suffering backfires. Women are attracted to emotional strength, not emotional weakness. The man who breaks down after losing a woman demonstrates that he can't handle life challenges without her support. This makes her feel burdened rather than missed. Control your emotional displays around mutual friends and social situations. If you must process the breakup emotionally, do it privately or with male friends who understand the situation. Never let your emotional processing become public knowledge that can reach her. But here's what creates real regret. When she expects you to be devastated and instead observes you handling the situation with calm strength, it challenges her entire narrative about the relationship's importance. She anticipated being the cause of dramatic suffering, but you demonstrate emotional resilience. Avoid alcohol abuse, dramatic social media posts, or any public behavior that suggests you're struggling to cope. These reactions provide validation that leaving hurt you deeply, which is exactly what she wants to see to confirm her decision was correct. The emotional control strategy doesn't mean suppressing genuine feelings. It means processing them privately while maintaining public composure. This demonstrates the emotional maturity she claimed you lacked during the relationship. Women often test men's emotional responses after breakups to gauge their true feelings and confirm their own importance. When you provide zero emotional validation through suffering displays, it creates uncertainty about your actual attachment level. Cut all contact immediately and permanently. This means deleting her number, unfollowing all social media accounts, and eliminating every possible avenue for contact or information gathering. Most men maintain digital connections while avoiding direct contact, which prevents true healing and moving forward. Here's what most men miss. Keeping communication channels open maintains false hope and prevents psychological closure. As long as you can easily contact her or monitor her activities, part of your mind remains invested in the relationship rather than building your future. Block her on all platforms to prevent weak moments from destroying your progress. The ability to check her social media or send quick messages will sabotage your recovery and make you appear desperate when you inevitably break down and reach out. But here's the psychological impact that creates regret. Complete communication blackout forces her to confront the reality that you've moved on entirely. She can't gauge your emotional state, monitor your activities, or maintain any influence over your life. Women expect to remain significant in ex-partners' lives even after breakups. Your complete disappearance challenges this expectation and creates uncertainty about your true feelings and current situation. The information vacuum becomes psychologically compelling. Refuse all attempts at friendship or maintaining contact for practical reasons. These suggestions are always manipulation designed to keep you emotionally available while she explores other options. Real friendship requires genuine indifference, which doesn't exist immediately after romantic relationships. The communication blackout must be permanent, not temporary punishment. Any resumption of contact resets the dynamic and confirms that you were just playing games rather than genuinely moving forward. Understand that women and men process breakups completely differently. When men leave relationships, they often do it impulsively during moments of anger and may regret it later. Women don't operate this way. By the time she tells you it's over, she's been mentally checked out for weeks or months. Here's what most men don't realize. Her breakup announcement isn't the beginning of her departure process, it's the end. She's already processed the relationship, considered alternatives, and made her final decision. The conversation where she ends things is just her informing you of conclusions she reached long ago. Stop hoping she'll realize her mistake and come back. Women who initiate breakups rarely return because they've already invested significant mental and emotional energy into the decision. Waiting for her to change her mind is waiting for something that won't happen. But here's why this recognition creates strategic advantage. When you understand that her decision is final, you stop wasting energy on reconciliation fantasies and start investing in actual improvement. This rapid acceptance and forward movement creates the regret that hoping for her return never could. Women often act cold and distant after breakups because they've already emotionally disconnected from the relationship. This isn't cruelty, it's psychological protection from the guilt of hurting someone they once cared about. Accept that the relationship is permanently over from the moment she announces it. Any energy spent hoping for reconciliation is energy stolen from building your better future. The faster you accept reality, the faster you can begin creating the life that makes her regret leaving. The reality recognition system prevents you from making decisions based on false hope rather than actual circumstances. This psychological clarity allows strategic thinking instead of emotional reactions. Build an abundance mentality by creating genuine alternatives in your romantic life. The reason breakups devastate most men isn't the loss of one specific woman, it's the fear that they'll never find another woman who wants them. This scarcity mindset creates desperate behavior that repels quality women. Here's why most men lack options. They put all their romantic energy into one relationship and neglect building social skills, attractiveness, and confidence that create choice. When that single relationship ends, they have nothing to fall back on except desperation. Start developing your attractiveness immediately through physical improvement, social skill building, and lifestyle enhancement. The goal isn't finding a replacement immediately. It's becoming the kind of man who has legitimate choices rather than settling for whoever shows interest. But here's what creates the deepest regret. When she observes that losing her didn't diminish your ability to attract other women, it challenges her belief about her own irreplaceability. She expected you to struggle finding anyone else, but you demonstrate abundant options. Join social activities, improve your appearance, and develop the confidence that comes from knowing you can attract quality women. This isn't about revenge dating, it's about building genuine options that eliminate desperation from your psychological makeup. The abundance mentality changes how you approach all relationships, because you're choosing partners from a position of strength rather than accepting whatever attention you receive. This psychological shift makes you more attractive to everyone, including your ex-partner. Women can sense desperation and scarcity in men's behavior patterns, When you eliminate these qualities through genuine options development, your entire energy changes in ways that create attraction rather than pity. Remove her from the center of your life permanently and replace her with goals, ambitions, and purposes that don't depend on any individual woman for fulfillment. Most men make women their primary source of meaning, which creates vulnerability to manipulation and devastating pain when relationships end. Here's what most men don't understand. Putting any woman at the center of your life automatically makes you less attractive to her. Women want to be part of a man's mission, not the entire purpose of his existence. When you make her your whole world, you become boring and predictable. Build career ambitions, fitness goals, creative projects, and personal challenges that give your life meaning independent of romantic relationships. The man who needs a woman to feel fulfilled will always be vulnerable to control by women who recognize this dependency. But here's why this creates regret. When she observes that losing her didn't diminish your life purpose, but actually enhanced it, she realizes the relationship might have been holding you back rather than supporting your growth. Your improved focus and achievement after her departure suggests she was a distraction. Develop hobbies, interests, and social connections that were neglected during the relationship. Often men sacrifice personal passions to accommodate women's preferences and time demands. Reclaiming these activities demonstrates that losing her freed you to become more authentically yourself. The life priority restructuring shows that you have identity and purpose beyond romantic relationships. This psychological independence is attractive and makes her question whether she was actually adding value to your life or subtracting from it. Women want to feel important to men's lives without being the only important thing in men's lives. When you demonstrate rich, full existence without her, it creates the perfect balance of showing she mattered while proving you don't need her. Stop all emotional, mental, and financial investment in her immediately and permanently. This includes thinking about her constantly, talking about the relationship with others, or spending money on things that remind you of her. Every continued investment makes moving forward more difficult and painful. Here's what most men don't realize. The more you've invested in someone, the harder it becomes to let them go. This is why breakups hurt more when you've spent significant time, money, and emotional energy on the relationship. Continuing to invest after it's over only deepens the pain. Cut your losses completely rather than trying to salvage something from the relationship wreckage. Delete photos, throw away gifts, and eliminate physical reminders that keep you emotionally connected to what's finished. These items prevent psychological closure and healing, but here's the strategic insight. When you immediately stop all investment and move forward without looking back, it demonstrates outcome independence that creates regret. She expected to remain important in your thoughts and considerations, but you treat her as completely irrelevant to your future planning. Avoid self-destructive behaviors like excessive drinking, listening to sad music, or wallowing in romantic movies that keep you emotionally connected to the pain. These activities are forms of continued investment that prevent healing and forward progress. Stop talking about the relationship with friends and family. This continued discussion is emotional investment that keeps you psychologically attached, while often generating bad advice from people who don't understand the situation. Process the experience privately and move forward publicly. The investment termination protocol forces you to redirect your energy toward building your future rather than processing your past. This forward momentum creates the success and happiness that makes her regret leaving. Never resume investment even if she shows interest in reconciliation. Any renewed investment in someone who already demonstrated willingness to discard you is setting yourself up for repeated pain and manipulation. The goal is reaching complete indifference about her choices, activities, and opinions. When you genuinely don't care what she does or thinks, you've achieved the psychological freedom that makes success possible and regret inevitable. Most men remain emotionally invested in ex-partners for months or years after breakups, which prevents them from building better lives and relationships. The faster you terminate all investment, the faster you can create the life that makes her wish she hadn't left. Remember that she was part of your past, not your future. Every minute spent thinking about her is time stolen from building the life that will make her regret her decision. The investment termination protocol ensures your energy goes toward creating regret rather than extending pain. Transform your social media presence into evidence of your upgraded life without appearing desperate for attention. Most men either disappear completely from social platforms or post obvious attempts to make their ex jealous. Both approaches fail because they don't create genuine social proof of improvement. Here's what most men miss. Effective social media strategy after a breakup requires authentic documentation of genuine progress, rather than performative displays designed to trigger specific reactions. The goal is creating undeniable evidence that your life improved dramatically after she left. Post content that showcases achievements, experiences, and social connections naturally. Travel photos, fitness progress, professional accomplishments, and group activities should tell a clear story without mentioning the relationship or appearing vindictive. The narrative should be forward-focused rather than past-referencing. But here's the psychological trigger. When she inevitably checks your profiles months later, the cumulative effect should be overwhelming evidence that losing her was the best thing that happened to your development. Every post should contribute to a story of dramatic improvement and increased happiness. Document your physical transformation through progress photos that demonstrate commitment to self-improvement. Before and after fitness results, new clothing choices and improved grooming standards provide visual proof of positive changes that occurred after her departure. Include social interactions that demonstrate expanded circles and active lifestyle. Photos with friends, group events, and new experiences show that your social life became more interesting and connected rather than isolated after the relationship ended. This challenges her assumption that losing her damaged your social value. Professional success deserves strategic documentation when it represents genuine advancement. Promotions, recognition, new opportunities, and career milestones demonstrate that you channeled breakup energy into building your future rather than dwelling on the past. Never post anything that directly or indirectly references the relationship, your emotional state, or her impact on your life. Any mention of the past suggests you're still mentally invested in what ended rather than focused on what's beginning. The social proof reconstruction works because it forces her to confront visual evidence that contradicts her expectations about your post-breakup trajectory. She anticipated decline and struggle, but observes improvement and success. Quality over quantity becomes your posting strategy. Rather than frequent updates that suggest desperation for attention, selective posting implies that your life is full enough that social media isn't a priority. This scarcity creates more impact than abundance. Engage authentically with others' content rather than using social media purely for broadcasting your own achievements. This demonstrates genuine interest in others and creates reciprocal engagement that expands your social proof organically. When you're ready to date again, pursue women who represent obvious improvements over your ex-partner in attractiveness, character, or life quality. This isn't revenge dating, it's discovering that better options were always available once you stopped settling for less than you deserved. Here's what most men don't understand. The fastest way to create regret is demonstrating that losing you freed you to find someone better. When she observes you with a woman who's clearly superior to her, it destroys her entire narrative about the breakup and her own value. Take sufficient time to heal and improve before seriously dating. Entering new relationships while still emotionally attached to your ex creates unfair dynamics and prevents you from recognizing genuine compatibility with higher quality partners. Focus on women who demonstrate qualities your ex-partner lacked. If she was dramatic, pursue emotionally stable women. If she was demanding, seek low-maintenance partners. If she was unsupportive, prioritize encouraging women who celebrate your success rather than competing with it. But here's the psychological devastation. She doesn't just see you with someone else, she sees you with someone obviously better. This forces her to confront the possibility that she overestimated her own value while underestimating your ability to attract quality women. Document healthy relationship dynamics naturally through social interactions and shared experiences. The contrast between toxic patterns with your ex and healthy patterns with new partners becomes apparent to anyone observing your life, especially her. Never compare new partners to your ex directly, but allow the differences to speak through how much happier and more relaxed you appear in the new relationship compared to the stress and drama you displayed in the previous one. The upgrade strategy works because it demonstrates that losing your ex didn't damage your romantic prospects. It freed you to pursue options that were previously unavailable because you were committed elsewhere. Ensure the new relationship represents genuine improvement rather than just lateral movement. The difference should be obvious to outside observers, particularly your ex-partner, when she inevitably learns about your new situation. Avoid rushing into serious commitment simply to prove you've moved on. The goal is finding authentic compatibility and building something healthy rather than using relationships as evidence of your recovery. Channel your emotional energy into wealth creation and career advancement that demonstrates what she gave up when she chose to leave. This strategy works because it provides tangible evidence of improvement that can't be dismissed or explained away. Here's why this creates deep regret. Women often leave men during periods of financial building or career transition. When you demonstrate explosive success after her departure, it suggests that relationship management was preventing your advancement rather than supporting it. Eliminate all relationship-related expenses immediately and redirect that money toward investments, business development, or career growth. The money previously spent on dates, gifts, and relationship maintenance becomes capital for building your financial empire. Pursue professional opportunities that were difficult to navigate while managing relationship demands. Single life provides flexibility to relocate, work longer hours, take calculated risks, or pursue ventures that relationship obligations often prevent. But here's the insight that devastates female psychology. Your financial success after the breakup reveals catastrophically poor timing on her part. She left during your building phase and missed the rewards phase, creating regret about judgment rather than just missing you personally. Develop multiple income streams through side businesses, consulting, or investment activities. The time and mental energy previously devoted to relationship maintenance becomes available for wealth building that compounds over time. Create visible symbols of success that demonstrate financial progress without appearing to show off. Better housing, transportation, travel experiences, and lifestyle upgrades become natural evidence of advancement. Network aggressively within your industry and related fields to create opportunities for advancement and collaboration. Professional relationships often suffer during intense personal relationships, so rebuilding these connections accelerates career growth. Invest in education, certifications, or skills development that enhance your professional value and earning potential. The freedom from relationship distractions allows focused attention on learning and development that increases your market worth. The financial success strategy works because it provides concrete evidence that losing her opened opportunities rather than closing them. Money talks louder than words when demonstrating life improvement. Pursue interests and develop abilities that you neglected during the relationship. Often men sacrifice personal passions to accommodate women's preferences and time demands. Reclaiming these activities demonstrates that losing her freed you to become more authentically yourself. Here's what creates regret. She observes you developing into a more well-rounded, accomplished person after her departure. This suggests that the relationship was preventing your personal growth rather than supporting it. Learn new languages, develop artistic abilities, master technical skills, or pursue athletic achievements that create personal satisfaction and social proof. The goal is becoming more interesting and capable rather than just staying busy. Document your skill development through achievements, certifications, or creative output that demonstrates real progress. Learning instruments, speaking new languages, or mastering technical abilities provide tangible evidence of self-improvement. But here's what most men miss. The skills you develop should make you more attractive to higher quality women while demonstrating personal growth that has nothing to do with relationships. You're becoming better for yourself, not to impress anyone. Join communities and groups related to your new interests where you'll meet like-minded people who appreciate your developing abilities. This creates natural social expansion while pursuing genuine personal interests. The skill development strategy works because it shows you used your freedom productively rather than wallowing in self-pity. She expected you to be broken and stagnant, but you became more capable and interesting. Pursue challenging goals that require dedication and persistence. Marathon training, language fluency, musical proficiency, or artistic creation demonstrate the focus and commitment that she claimed you lacked during the relationship. Create content or performances that showcase your developing abilities. This isn't showing off, it's authentic sharing of growth that provides evidence of your expanding capabilities and interests. Develop genuine emotional strength that makes you immune to manipulation while becoming attractive to quality women who respect authentic confidence. This inner transformation supports all external improvement strategies. Here's what women don't expect. Instead of becoming bitter or emotionally closed, you become more emotionally intelligent and resilient. The relationship failure becomes education that prevents future manipulation while enhancing your attractiveness to psychologically healthy women. Build interests, goals, and sources of meaning that don't depend on romantic relationships for fulfillment. The man who needs a woman to feel complete will always be vulnerable to control by women who recognize this emotional dependency. Process the breakup completely through self-reflection, therapy, or personal development work that helps you understand relationship patterns and areas for growth. The goal is learning from the experience rather than just recovering from it. But here's the transformation that creates the deepest regret. You become the emotionally stable, internally confident man she actually wanted, but left before you developed into. This timing becomes obviously catastrophic when she observes your evolution. Establish clear boundaries and standards for all future relationships based on lessons learned from what didn't work. This prevents new partners from developing the same disrespectful patterns that characterized your previous relationship. Create support systems and accountability structures that maintain your development independently of romantic validation. Strong male friendships, mentors, and professional relationships provide stability that romantic relationships can't offer. The Emotional Mastery Protocol makes you genuinely attractive while making you immune to the manipulation tactics that lower quality women use to control men. This psychological strength becomes apparent in all your interactions. Practice meditation, journaling, or other mindfulness techniques that enhance emotional regulation and self-awareness. These practices create inner stability that external circumstances can't shake. When your ex-partner eventually observes your emotional transformation, she should recognize that you became everything she wanted but abandoned before you could develop it. This creates profound regret about timing and judgment that extends far beyond missing you personally. If you're recognizing that these strategies work because they transform you into a genuinely superior version of what she left, rather than just trying to make her jealous, I encourage you to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Understanding these psychological dynamics helps you convert heartbreak into fuel for becoming the man she wishes she hadn't lost. The ultimate truth about making women regret losing you is that it's not about revenge or manipulation. It's about using rejection as catalyst for becoming authentically better than what they walked away from. When you transform pain into power and improvement into evidence, breakups become the beginning of your best life, rather than the end of your happiness.